And in the last hour of this program, the next hour, I am going to rip into this guy by the name of, what the hell is his name? Phil Gordan. You ever heard of Phil Gordan? Well, by the time I'm done, you won't forget him. I want you to know who Philip Gordan is. I never knew who Philip Gordan was. Now I know what he is. He's what I call an a-hole. But Philip Gordan. Israel's ongoing occupation, this is in the Times of Israel, but you need to hear this, of the West Bank is wrong and leads to regional instability and dehumanization of Palestinians. A top American government official said yesterday in Tel Aviv, hinting that the current Israeli government is not committed to peace. So we have John McCain attacking his own country from within because we have people in the shadows and we're denying them their human rights, let alone their rights as citizens. And now we have this jerk, Philip Gordan, a special assistant to Barack Obama and the White House coordinator for the Middle East. Philip Gordan trashing another democracy, Israel. In an unusually harsh major foreign policy address, Philip Gordan, a special assistant to U.S. President Barack Obama and the White House coordinator for the Middle East, appealed to Israeli and Palestinian leaders to make the compromises needed to reach a permanent peace agreement. Hey, look, you schmuck. Don't you see what's going on in Israel right now? I'll ask again, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my question. Would we enter into peace negotiations with people who are lobbing rockets into our major cities, who've been doing it since our founding, who will not even recognize our country, who are building alliances with the worst terrorists on the face of the earth? Would we enter into peace negotiations with them and give up more of our country? You'd have to be crazy. And yet, that's what Philip Gordan is complaining about. Jerusalem should not take for granted the opportunity to negotiate such a treaty with the Palestinian Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas, who's proven to be a reliable partner, Gordan said. This is unbelievable. But this tells you everything you need to know about this administration. This administration has not made an unequivocal, definitive statement in support of Israel against the Hamas terrorists and the rest of them. This jerk goes on. Israel confronts an undeniable reality. It cannot maintain military control of another people indefinitely. Maintain military control of another people? Is that what Israel's doing? I think it's defending itself. It's defending itself. Doing so is not only wrong, but a recipe for resentment and recurring instability, Gordan said. It will embolden extremists on both sides, tear at Israel's democratic fabric, and feed mutual dehumanization. This guy, there need to be some senators there. Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Mike Lee. There need to be some members of Congress. Louis Gohmert, Michelle Bachmann, others who call for this guy's resignation immediately. Delivering the keynote address at the Haaretz newspaper's Israel Conference on Peace. Listen to this. Gordan reiterated Obama's position that a final status agreement should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed land swaps. Israel cannot survive under those conditions. I've been criticized for saying Obama hates Israel, but I'll say it till my last breath. He's not exactly in love with his own country either, by the way. This administration is aware that Israel's facing threats on several fronts, and Obama remains committed to Israel's security, he said, speaking on the day Israel launched Operative Protective Edge to counter rocket fire from the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. In fact, mere hours before Gordan addressed the conference, hundreds of participants were forced to quickly evacuate the event hall and enter a safe room after an alert signaled a missile approaching Tel Aviv. But I've got my speech, and I've got to deliver it. The United States will always have Israel's back, he said. Well, the United States under this Obama administration, this hate Israel, hate liberty, hate democracy, hate America administration, that's right, I said it. They don't have Israel's back. They don't even have our own military's back. That's why we fight for it every day at the UN. You know what, pal? Gordan said, how will Israel remain democratic and Jewish if it attempts to govern the millions of Palestinian Arabs who live in the West Bank? How will it have peace? Well, I don't know. How will America remain American if we don't secure our border? It won't. How will it have peace if it's unwilling to delineate a border, end the occupation? Hear that? That's the trigger word. That's the trigger word for the Jew haters, the Israel haters, the anti-Semites, and the occupation, and allow for Palestinian sovereignty, security, and dignity. How will we prevent other states from supporting Palestinian efforts in international bodies if Israel's not seen as committed to peace? This man is giving this speech in the middle of this war against Israel from Hamas, this Hamas that is supported by the Islamo-Nazi regime in Tehran. And I could go on. The speech was 25 minutes. Marked the first time a senior White House official directly addressed the Israeli people since Obama in March 2013. And I'll bet those Israelis running to their fallout shelters, grabbing their gas masks, listening to the sirens going off day in and day out, night and day, watching missiles hit Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and other cities, I bet they were really persuaded by Philip Gordan, a special assistant to Obama, the White House coordinator for the Middle East, who, when he finished his speech, no doubt flew back to America in the comfort of his own home, no doubt, telling other people how to commit suicide. I am ashamed of this administration. It is so disgraceful what it's doing to our country, what it's doing to our allies, how it's empowering our enemies, the worst of them. It's hollowing out our military. It's opening our southern border. It's preaching to other countries that would literally destroy themselves if they listen to these idiots. You know, folks, you would think that this president and the knuckleheads that surround him would celebrate our country, would celebrate the fact that we are a force for greatness in this world, a force for liberty and humanity. Even when you hear John McCain speak, the old war hero, it's really outrageous what he says, that we are keeping people in the shadows. You would think that when you see a diamond in the rough, and it's really rough in the Middle East, a democracy, a parliamentary democracy that has survived war after war, terrorist attack after terrorist attack, that would be celebrated, that would be an example for the barbaric regimes to follow. But no, we have some jerk who reports directly to Obama, Phil Gordan, lecture Israel about how it's occupying other people, how it's using its military to, in effect, imprison millions of people, when it's doing no such thing. Long time ago, I spoke to the fact that Barack Obama, obviously, and we know this, when he was a community organizer, surrounded himself with these radicals, these domestic terrorists. And among his radical friends was this guy, Khalidi, who became a professor. Khalidi was, if not a formal, an indirect spokesidiot for Hamas. He had ties of sorts with Hamas. The Los Angeles Times has a tape, maybe a video or just audio, of Barack Obama at this Khalidi going away party. They will not release it. I have a long memory, like an elephant. I love elephants. The L.A. Slimes is still sitting on that audio/video and will not release it. We want to know what he said.